post all the answer keys, where to find them, so if you haven't looked at that, make sure you do that. For the first section, which ones do we want to see, go over, have questions about? So, 6.
4.
Okay, 4. We'll do those two. Alright, so this first section is just finding GCF. What do these three numbers have in common?
6.
Yes. So if we are dividing each one by 6, what's left?
3n squared plus 25n plus 7n. I mean, you get to 7 out of 10.
To 7, yes.
Yeah.
And you know that that's all because there's nothing else you can do with it. I can't take anything else out of there. I can't keep factoring. Like if I was thinking about doing the last objective and I multiplied the 3 and the 7 to get 21 and was looking for numbers that multiply to be 21 that add to be 25, it doesn't work. Because the only factors of 21 are 1 and 21, 3 and 7. None of those add to 25. So there's nothing else we can do. That is our answer. Questions on that one? For 6, what is the GCF of that? 2. Do we have any variables we can take out?
X squared.
X squared. We're dividing out 2x squared. What's left?
X squared.
Minus.
3x.
Minus.
Yes, 16. No, just 16.
Just 16. And then same thing, I can't take out anything else. If I try to think of factors that multiply to be negative 16 that add to be negative 3, there aren't any. So that is your final answer. Okay, questions on that? Next objective is grouping. Of those 6, which ones do we want to see, go over, have questions about? Yes. Alright, for 7, because we have 4 terms, split it down the middle. What did those first two have in common?
Just n squared.
N squared. So 1, yes, but n squared. So divide that out. What would be left?
5n. Minus 7.
Okay. What could we divide out of the last two?
6.
6. Can we divide n out of both? No. So just 6. If we divide it out of 6, what's left?
5n.
Our insides are the same, which is what we want. If they're not the same, go back and check your work. Something's wrong. Maybe you factored out the wrong thing. Then what are the two factors? Always look at your final factors. Make sure there's nothing else you can divide out. If that is the case, those are your final answers. Questions on that? Yes.
Would there be like a question on the quiz that has a number of figures?
I don't think so, but I don't remember. No. Okay. So, because these numbers are really big, you might be able to take a GCF out of everything before you start. They're big numbers. You may not know those factors. So I would say pick a number, start dividing each one, see if that works for each one. If it does, we can use that. If it doesn't, then we have to keep going.
There can't be decimal numbers, right?
Correct.
No, 12 doesn't work sadly.
Okay. So I would say start going down I always start low and go high instead of starting high and going low. Don't you have a calculator?
Yeah, I didn't do this one, so.
So if we divide each thing by 6, what's left?
32x cubed
Minus
56 x cubed
x squared plus
28 x
minus
49.
Now our numbers are smaller, still somewhat big, but more manageable. I feel like we know these factors other than those, or at least some of them. So let's split our middle, find common factors of those two.
8.
8. Any variables?
X squared.
Okay, so bring down your 6. 8x squared. If we divide that out, what's left?
4x minus 7. 7.
This is 7. Okay. What could we divide out of those last two? 7. And what would that leave us with?
4x.
Then how would we write our final answer?
6 parentheses x squared plus 7.
Missing something.
8, yeah, 8x. 7 parentheses 4x minus 7.
And there you go. Here, have it. Dude, this is a big process, Miss Thorpe.
I'm sorry.
We won't have
Create the factoring process.
we won't have anything larger than this for the rest of the year, right?
When you say larger than this, I don't know what you mean.
Like a large process like this. You gotta do one thing, then another thing, then
I'm
just
not
keep
going to
going.
say yes or no to that.
So yes, so you are
Probably that depends on what you consider to be large process or not. Do we have any questions on that? Ms. Schneider wrote this. This is perfect square, which is the same thing as difference of squares, it's just different terminology. Of these, which ones do you want to see go over have questions on? Bless you there. Anthony? 13, okay. 16, okay.
Just do mine.
So for these, you're going to have two factors. What times what will give you 4p squared?
No.
2p. What times what will give you 1? 1. Plus minus. What times what will give you 4n squared? 2n. And what times what will give you 5? 25. But 5, yes. Plus minus. Be on the lookout for GCFs. If you need to factor out a GCF, you'll need to do that first. Yes. It doesn't matter. Okay. On to the next page. I would say pick 22 or 23 and then one of the others. Anthony? Okay. And one more? Okay. So starting with 22, does this have a GCF? 5. So if we divide 5 out of everything, what's left? minus, this is 3. Because, like the other ones, this doesn't have a number in front, or the number in front is 1. You're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be -3 and add to be -2.
-2, -1.
Multiply to be -3.
1, 2, 1. Wait, hold on. 1 and 3, the 3 would be negative.
Yes.
Yeah, my brain hurts.
So then you can jump right into your factors. You don't have to do the grouping process. You can, but that would give you more work for this. Questions on that one? $23, does that one have a GCF? 3. So if we divide 3 out of everything, what's left?
M squared.
And then same thing, this has a 1 in front, so we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be -6 and add to be 1. Would I give you positive 1?
Negative.
Negative.
2, positive 3.
Well, why does it matter? I was on the right track. Just one number. Why does it matter if it's close or not?
Going crazy.
The negatives?
Yeah, but like if the that these negatives still going to be fine.
Add 3 to -3 plus 2 and -2 plus 3 don't give you the same thing. So then your 2 factors would be n minus 2 and n plus 3. Make sure you're writing the right variables. You shouldn't have x's when there's n's. That would make sense. Not right now, but yes. And then 2 questions from the last objective.
26.
Okay?
I guess 29.
Okay. Right. Or 26, does this have a GCF?
5 is one I can think of.
5 is the GCF, yes. So if we divide each of these by 5, what's left?
7K.
Minus?
20?
No. Yeah, 20. It's
Yes,
20. Yeah,
20.
20.
3K. That's so far over. Minus?
80.
I was just I don't think that's 80. Great. Now we have a number in front of the something that's squared. So the process is a little different. Multiply 7 and -32.
Negative 224.
So 2 numbers that multiply to be that, but add to be -20. I would say it's a big number. I always start with 10 if it's a big number, but 10 obviously wouldn't work. So let's go up or down 1. Would 9 or 11 work?
Not 9 is 24.8.
Okay. 8 or 12?
28.
28 and
Uh,
would that work for -20?
yes.
Which one would be negative? Would that give you -20? -28. Positive 8. Rewrite this. Keep your GCF out front. First and last stay the same. Does not matter where you put the middle 2, as long as you put them both. Then you're back to grouping. Split the middle. Keep bringing down your GCF.
7.
7. Okay. We divide that out, what's left?
K minus 4.
Okay. And then what could we divide out of the last two?
8.
Plus 8. We do that, what's left?
K minus 4.
So then what would our final answers be?
5 parentheses 7 K plus 8 parentheses K minus 4.
We can't divide anything else out of those, so that is our final answer. Questions on that one before we do this last one? $29. Does that have a GCF?
Not 9. Could 3 work?
3 does work. We divide them each by 3. What's left?
6 2.
Minus
17 x
minus
14.
and then same thing, multiply 6 and negative 14. Okay. The two numbers that multiply to be negative 84 and add to be negative 17. So we know 6 and 14 are 1.
20,
But it's not
21 and 4.
Okay.
Negative 21, sorry.
Negative 21 and positive 4 would definitely get us negative 17 and multiply to be negative 84. Rewrite. We'll do minus 21x plus 4x minus 14. Split that down the middle. Keep bringing down your GCF.
3.
3.
3x. Yeah.
3x. What would be left?
2x minus 7. And
It is positive 2. Mm-hmm. You divide that out, what's left?
2x minus 7.
And then what would our final answer be?
3, being on the 3, parentheses 3x plus 2, 2x minus 7.
Correct. So I want to give you ample time to do your quiz. I won't answer any other specific questions, but if we have general questions. So, this part. So we can divide a 3 out of both of these and an x out of both. We take these 2 and put them in the thing. Any other general questions? Clear off your desk, except for your calculator and your pencil. I need all cell phones, smartwatches, whatever, in a calculator pocket, not on your person, not in your bag, not in your leg, none of those things.